Yo, what's going down, Greene Entertainment fans? Your homie Jay Greene back right now with yet another review, and right now it is for the brand new Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny. Now, this movie right here is the 5th installment to the Indiana Jones franchise, and once again, we're watching our homie globetrotting around the world in search of some kind of ancient artifact type swag. Now, for those of you out there who have no idea what this film is all about, I'm gonna break down the plot and the premise like this. We open up and we see Indy and one of his homies fighting Nazis, and they getting caught up in the mix. Now, they barely escape with the skin of their teeth, but not before stealing one of the Nazis' top scientist type dudes' most valuable artifact, the Dial of Destiny. I mean, at least half of it. We then cut to the 60s, and because of Indy's good friend's obsession with this Dial of Destiny situation, now his daughter has come looking for Indy's help in trying to find the other half and keep it out of the hands of the evildoers, and also see and prove if it actually is capable of doing what people have said that it is capable of doing. Damn. And that's pretty much the film. Now, as a literal lifelong Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones fan, I'm hella happy to say that this movie was fire. Now, I just got out of this movie and your homie right here loved it. And I did actually get a little choked up through some portions of the film, especially in the end, for two main reasons. One, because this is probably going to be the last time we will ever see Harrison Ford don the fedora and the whip, you feel me? And because he actually had an opportunity to go out on such a high note, in my professional opinion. Now, this movie is credited by 6 writers. We're talking about Jez Butterworth and John Henry Butterworth. Both of these two gentlemen have screenplay and writing credits on movies like Edge of Tomorrow and Ford v Ferrari. Another writer is David Coep, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he's got screenplay and writing credits for movies like Jurassic Park, Stir of Echoes, Mission Impossible, and the original Toby Maguire Spider-Man. We got some writing credits from James Mangold, of course, but primarily he is shining in the director's chair. And remember, James Mangold is the same cat that brought us movies like Walk the Line, 3:10 to Yuma, Ford v Ferrari, and Logan, arguably one of the greatest comic book films of all time, in my professional opinion. Now, bring the fact that we have 6 writers up, because usually when you have that many hands on deck taking care of story, timelines, characters, all that type of stuff, then this movie can kind of go off the rails rather quick. And as we've seen recently, and maybe even most often with most of these remakes, miss the essence of the characters or the franchise altogether. But what I love that the writers and James Mangold did was make it so that anybody out there, someone who has never seen any of the Indiana Jones films whatsoever before this one, can jump right into this one, understand what's jumping off, be entertained, engaged, and have a great time throughout. And in my opinion, what they did for us fans of the Indiana Jones franchise was make it feel as though it fits right into that original trilogy. In that this movie feels like it's its own contained story. You know how most of the Indiana Jones films, one, are kind of chronologically out of order, but they also feel like their own stories. This movie, it feels like that, and also at the same time sprinkles in that new character development and backstory, so we're entertained and engaged in those characters throughout the first and maybe the second act, and then that way we carry into the third act, and now we're off for that straight adventure action bonanza that is Indiana Jones. I love that ish. And if you're someone like me who did not care for the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull at all, I just kind of put that out of sight, out of mind. So if I say that this movie to me felt like it fits right in with those original 3, then I'll say another great positive that the writers and James Mangold did with this film was pay respect to developing our classic characters that we kind of see coming back on the screen and their motivations for going on this particular journey. Right? Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, they've aged, and it's been some years since we've caught up with him and his band of misfits. So being able to see some of their story grow and develop, not just the plot of the movie, as well as get everything from the newer characters and have it all fit together very well, in my opinion, was awesome. Now, I will say there were some times in this movie where I felt some hella high levels of nostalgia for sure, and I was a little nervous when the movie started out doing some of that stuff, because as of late, with some of these remakes or these reboots, sometimes they lean way too heavy on nostalgia and they miss the mark on the story that is supposed to engage us and make it a good time at the theater in general. So in this movie, when that classic Indiana Jones theme starts to swell up, right? Or he's throwing a punch and when it lands, it's got that iconic Indy punch sound effect, or when he's seeing some old friends, because it was attached to such a good movie, it really hits you right in the feels, especially, again, if you're an Indiana Jones fan. And I'm pretty sure in the theater that I was watching it, there was a lot of Indiana Jones fans, because when it came to certain musical notes, throwing certain punches, or Indy just kind of being sarcastic the way that he is and with his swag, the whole audience was clapping and cheering. It was a great time. Now allow me to be the one to address the elephant in the room. Harrison Ford is no spring chicken. This man is about 80 years old, so in the beginning of the movie, as they are way in the past, we're talking about like 1939, fighting these Nazis, there's quite a bit of de-aging. Now for me, I thought that it looked great. However, at the same time, it's hard not to actually look for it if you're someone like myself who grew up on Harrison Ford. So seeing him from a young man and watching all of his films and things like that until he's an old man, I am going to kind of like subconsciously look for the de-aging. So even though I was looking, I thought I still looked hella fly. Now I'm not bringing that up because it's a bad thing or it's a big old thing of contention. I'm bringing that up because I want to let some of y'all out there know who are pixel peepers and those that really look for the issues and things in the movies, that I don't think that it's perfect, but I don't think that it's bad enough to take you out of the movie or out of the action and the fun. I think you're going to be just fine. Now let's talk acting for a second. Well, you got Harrison effing Ford, so that's enough said. But a lot of the heavy lifting is actually done by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and she was phenomenal. And her chemistry with Harrison Ford was off the charts. I believed every moment of their relationship, and I love how the movie kind of plays off each of their motivations for going on this particular journey, and the fact that her character was able to get Indy to open up on an emotional level about a lot of different things that he's dealt with in his life up to this moment that we haven't seen yet. So again, just furthering the plot, the story in this film, but Indiana Jones' legacy over all of the films. Great stuff. Mads Mikkelson is in this. He's playing Dr. Voller, the main villain of the entire film. And Mads Mikkelson is one of those dudes that will elevate just about any film that he's in. And because Mads Mikkelson has such a unique swag, he always adds such a sinister level to a film or to a character that he's playing that's a villain. And I love that ish because it just makes it that much more engaging. And I will say that because of that swagger that he has and that sinister vibe that he gives to most of his villain roles, I'm watching him in this movie and his particular henchmen thinking, did you take these villains out of a Bond film and drop them right in the middle of an Indiana Jones movie? And I don't say that as a bad thing because I promise you this, it's great. Now, I will say that this movie is sitting at about 2.5 hours, so make sure that you plan your evening accordingly. But it was entertaining throughout, and for your homie right here, it flew by. Now, with all that good said, because I ain't really got nothing bad to say about this film, I'm going to give you one thought that I had that was interesting. Again, not bad, just interesting. So, oftentimes when certain key musical moments come up in the score, it sounds a lot like classic Star Wars. And I thought that was interesting. It kind of took me out just a bit. I'm like, wait, are they just replaying the Star Wars soundtrack? If you see it, and you're a Star Wars and an Indiana Jones fan, you're going to know what I'm talking about. I never heard that in the other films, so I don't know. But I did some lightweight research. And when I say research, I do mean Google. John Williams scored this film. He scores most of Harrison Ford's classic movies. We're talking about Star Wars. We're talking about Indiana Jones, right? Now, John Williams is pushing like 91. So if this man happened to fall asleep and get a little unfocused, and when he peeked up from the keys, he sees Han Solo and gets a little confused by the fedora and the whip, I give him a pass if he wants to play some Star Wars swag. He's 91. And remember, it is John effing Williams. We'll give him a pass. Yo, I think that this movie is great. It's going to be great for the entire family. If you're on date night, or if you're just a fan of Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones, I think you're going to really enjoy this movie. Check it out. When you do, come back, comment below, let me know what you thought. Your homie, Jay Greene, I'm out.